All right, we finally got the RV done. In this video, we're going to talk about how much it cost, still going through the certification process, and tell you about what we're going to be working on next. Let's get after it. All right, let's take a look. It's all done. Go look inside. Margaret's putting some final trim on it and stuff, but pretty much this project is done. We're ready to start some other RVs. You can see that the kitchen, the wiring's all done. We had an electrician come in and make sure that we didn't do anything crazy, and we did, and they fixed it. So we had to put in vent fans, and all this still has to go through the certification company to be an actual RV. So we're working on that. We've got our plumbing all done. Everything's done, passed inspection. Had a plumber come in too, and actually a licensed plumber, master plumber, and verify that everything was okay there. Kitchen, I know you guys have seen this. All of that. We got instant hot water, it works fantastic. We put in a mini split for AC and heat, and that's all working. Bedroom down here. Got some cool lights off the marketplace. I really like those, kind of retro looking. All exposed conduit, and I just love that look. You know, kind of a rustic. I did put indicator light switches for my outside lights so that, you know, we'll know if the outside lights are. But we did set it up as an RV, you know, because things change sometimes. Got a little electric fireplace under there, super cool. Bump out. All right, let's go outside. All right, on this side, you can see where we mounted a mini split condenser there, and there's the bump out. Give you a good look at that. You know, I started adding up all the stuff that I spent money on to build this thing. Even though we got a lot of stuff off Facebook to build it, we're into this baby for about $45,000. So before you think you're gonna buy everything off Marketplace and do it all cheap, I used Reclaim siding that I got for $500, and that does not include my labor. It was extremely expensive to build this because some things we couldn't buy used, like conduit, wires, plumbing, all of that had to be brand new. And the labor on this would easily run us, if you added it all up, would be well over 100 grand. So thinking you're gonna build an inexpensive tiny house, ours is not even insulated. I just don't see how anybody's gonna do it, because we tried to do it very, very cheap. We did use quality windows, but again, I got those on Facebook negotiated. If I couldn't get them cheap enough, I just didn't buy them. So Peller, Marvin, you know, all really quality windows for a couple $100, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more. I did spend a lot of money on that big door right there. That was about over 7,000. Trailer I bought for $600, about $8,000 later, it was done and ready to carry the weight of the structure. I probably went overkill on the number of axles, but I wanted to be careful. So anyway, we're on to the certification company, and also I need to start talking more about the campground because we resubmitted plans. I'll give you a few updates on that. Here are the plans that, or most of the plans that we submitted, the information that we submitted to the town, again, for like the 5th or 6th time. I've lost count at this point. You know, we just make mistakes and omit stuff that we shouldn't have. So, you know, that's going to become evident as I take you through some of this. You can see I've got 39 pages, so I'm going to give you a high level. I'll get into details later on. So, you know, engineering wise, we're into this for, you know, over 100 grand. And that does not include all the environmental studies, water studies, and things like that. Surveys, we had to have a survey done, obviously, to make sure that we were staying on our property and that we knew what the property boundaries were and all the neighbors. And you can see we've got, you know, over 20 neighbors. We've got a neighbor here we've had some issues with neighbors trying to take our land through adverse possession. Claiming rights to our land. You know, when a big project like this, a lot of abutters, neighbors are pretty much all upset that we're trying to build a campground. They're trying to stop us, as I pointed out in my other videos. Here is another view, and this area right here is all wetland. So that consumes like maybe 27 acres, but when you consider a 100-foot setback, it's like well over 30, 35 acres that it takes up on our land. And we're only developing this area right in here. And so what we're showing here is basically our fence. We've put in about this red line here, I would say about a mile of fence to stop the encroaching neighbors from trying to take our land. You can see our land touches the water. I've pointed out in some of the other plans in 3 spots, south, central, and north. And then these are all neighbors here and here. So we're trying to put some campsites here and along here, but with the moratorium, they made the setbacks such that I can't even use that land because they made the setbacks so big. So that eliminated my ability to put some sites out there. But I can put activities out there, depending on, if I don't build any structures. And of course, it would have to get approved with the town. So I know and if you're in a more rural area, you can, probably do more about what you want. But, in the city of Sanford, the city has a lot to say about what you can do with your land, and apparently the neighbors. So you've got to some extent. But, it was zoned. The zoning for our land does allow for a campground, and we checked on that before we purchased it. Checked with the town, told them we wanted to build a campground. They thought it was a good idea. And then, so this is telling us where the water is going underground. This, the water seeps into the ground, and you can see it goes off in this direction mostly. Some of it underground, it might make it into the pond, but mostly it takes off away from Sand Pond. These are more neighbors. You can see that we have 2 parcels of land right here that actually go out to Country Club 2 rather, and we own that land. That's not a right of way. The neighbors actually have a right to use our land to get to their houses. So here's another, it says 113 acres is what we have according to the survey. We actually have more land than that because I own a personal property, and I've bought another cottage on the pond since I started this project. So there's all the campsites and the road going in, and this is really still just a high level. When we get down to here, you really start getting into the specifics about the barn, what the barn can be used for, because they don't want me using the barn for things that I didn't share with them. Believe it or not, guys, I mean, I know many of you are thinking, hey, this is my land, I'll do what I want, but you can't. So you really have to be very clear with the town what you plan on using the structures for, the pool. And if you zoom in on this stuff, I'll do that. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because there's just so much that I want to cover. But talking about the buffer and the trees, talking about how many parking spots we have, all became very important. Number of parking spots per site, where the trails were. You can see. Let me get over there. If there's anything that cuts through the buffer, like right here, we purchased this house, then you have to basically tell the town about that. If you're going to be going to the septic systems and going through the buffer, you have to tell the town about that. They really want to know everything. So you just be very, very transparent about everything you're trying to do and avoid problems is my advice, which we tried to do. Here we're talking about the RV staging area, 12 parking spots here, 3 up here, 12 parking spots up here. There's 2 campsites down here, 3 campsites here, no campsites down here, and then all along here. This dotted line represents the 250-foot buffer that we have to set back from, that we have to be very careful, about clearing that close to the pond. So we ended up moving our septic lines because of that. This is not a simple process of getting a camper. Maybe if you're up north where they don't pay attention to these things as much. So in order to get to this land here, the south part, we had to tell them that we're cutting through the buffer here, the setback rather, not the buffer, the setback. Well, it is kind of a buffer. And And then, what the trail is going to be covered with, bark mulch, wood chips, etc. That all has to be made very, very clear. The direction of the campsites. Come down here a little bit further, the central area. I'm just going to bomb through some of this stuff, guys. I'm going to bore the heck out of you. I'll create a separate video on it for those that are more interested in it. We have to reconstruct the entrance to between Country Club 2 and Sand Pond Road because we're creating additional traffic for the 41 sites. And so they're making us pay to improve this intersection, this public road. So we're going to do that. Got an archway over the entrance that will look pretty cool. Very excited about that. We're talking about all of our lights. They want to know every single street light that we're going to have, where it's going to be, how tall it is, the gates. They want all the information on that. Your amount of impervious surface here, which you're seeing in gray. That around the pools, some impervious surface as well. Then for fire trucks, this has caught us up actually quite a bit. They want to see lines to show that their 40-foot fire truck can actually make it through our roads and how it's going to be driven. So we had to provide all of that information, work with the fire chief to make sure we got that right. And then another high-level view of, the fire trucks and how they're going to get in, even though it was commented that, an RV would burn down by the time they could get there. But hey, it doesn't matter. It could be a forest fire or something like that, and they need to get there for it. Oh, this one's really important. This one for the campground is basically phases. If we build the campground in phases, this phase is going to be done first all the way up here so that the fire trucks have a way to turn around. And it's extremely expensive, guys. This is going to be a several $million project in order to do that. They wanted to know how the people are accessing the pond. So they're going to be going up this private road here, which we own actually. It's called Siddle Road. And they'll be coming through here and then getting down to the water that way. So they had to be in green because that will be in phase 1. Purple, and then blue. We're going to finish. We're going to go all the way up into the phase 4 there to make sure the fire trucks can turn around. A hammerhead in phase 5, which they probably won't ever use. They'll probably end up turning around here. But that's, state law drives a lot of what your local fire department is forced to put on you in terms of, rules. And like, I didn't want to cut a lot of trees, but, I have to have 20-foot or 20-foot wide roads. So that means I got to take down more trees than I wanted to. I can't just build this cute older type of campground look that, some of the grandfather campgrounds have because, laws, and the fire department has to enforce them. So basically it outlines the buffers so they can understand like how the buffer is being maintained through the different phases. And you can see the trails, these are trails that go on through the property. The city wanted to know exactly where all the trails were. I'll show you that in a second. And so I had to go out there with that equipment that you will see in my other videos. It gives me very, very accurate GPS coordinates on where the trails are behind the campsites, behind the buffer, how we cut through the buffer here, here, and here, and here to get to the trails. The signage, what our signage is going to look like to get to the baths, the trails, the different sites, where the parking is, directional signs, everything had to be outlined. Same here. More information, I'll just keep going over some. I'll get into it in more detail later. These are the actual trails on the campground. They want to make sure they're not in the buffer around the wetlands or the buffer behind the campsites. So we had to make sure we GPS marked them and overlaid them on the plans. And all these pages, guys, almost 40 pages of stuff that, this is specific information about the buffer and through here, because this a lot of times will lead to updates to your deed on the land. So it's actually going to change, your deed because the state requires that. So more information about the buffers, a silt fence. You know, we have to put in a silt fence so that we can make sure that we don't have leaves or any debris during the construction process that makes it, you know, into the buffer. This right here is the sewer and water, and you can see I'm bringing my sewer right through the campsites, which will make it a lot easier and less disturbing and less not as so close to the buffer. Water, how that's coming in, all the details. Take a look at this, guys. Domestic water supply, 1.5 meter backflow assembly, floor drain for RPZ at water meter location, tie into 4-inch diameter honeycomb leaching chamber outside of building. I mean, just really tons and tons of detail and lots of money. So anyone who thinks they're going to start a campground for cheap, those days in this country, or at least in the state of Maine, are over, because this is costing a lot. More details about the plumbing, details about the gates, the septic system, the gravel that we're putting into the road, the different layers of gravel, the pump stations that will pump the effluent out to the leach field. It's all there. So there you have it, guys. I'll get into the different stuff more later. These are my septic fields that we hired a local guy to basically study our soils. I had to go out there with my excavator and dig holes. And it just goes on and on and on and on. So yeah, I think that gives you more than, an overview, and I'll get into the details later. Okay, guys, if you want to learn more about what we're going through to try to get the campground approved, or if you want to learn about some of the other RV projects that we got coming up and want to follow along with that, click subscribe, tap the bell, and you'll be the first to know when we post another video. The next project, like I said, is going to be a bathhouse, and we're going to get it certified, and we're going to start that project very soon. So if you want to learn about that, follow along, and we'll see you in the next one.